You have stood before the mirror of your life for years, haven't you? Pleading with the reflection to smile, begging it to be wealthier, healthier, more loved. You have tried to manipulate the reflection, to force it, to bargain with it, only to see the same sorrowful face staring back at you. And here is the secret that has eluded mankind for centuries. You can never change the reflection because the reflection holds no power. It is a dead thing, a mere copy. The power has always been with the one standing before the mirror. Tonight, we turn away from the mirror. We stop focusing on the world of effects and we journey inward to the world of cause. I will hand you the key to understanding that you are not the reflection you see. You are the reality that casts it. Give me your attention, and I promise you, you will never look at yourself or your world the same way again. There is a principle upon which all of existence is built. It is not a philosophy to be debated, nor a belief to be adopted. It is a law as impersonal and as unfailing as the law of gravity. This law has been spoken of by mystics in veiled terms, etched into the walls of ancient temples and whispered in sacred texts for millennia. Yet, it remains the greatest secret because it is the most obvious of all truths. The truth is this: consciousness is the one and only reality. I want you to let that statement penetrate the fortress of your preconceived notions. Do not analyze it with the logical mind that has been trained by a world of illusion. Feel it. Consciousness is not something you have. It is what you are. It is the very substance from which all things are made, the formless clay from which all forms are molded. Consider your life as a grand, intricate dream. In your nightly dreams, you are the dreamer. The landscape, the people you meet, the events that unfold, all of it, is a projection of your own self. The dream may feel intensely real. You may feel joy, fear, or passion. But upon waking, you realize that the entire drama, every character, every molecule of that dream world was simply yourself, pushed out. Now, I am telling you that this waking life is a dream of the same nature, but one from which you have not yet awakened. You are the dreamer, dreaming this world into being. The person you call your mother, your employer, your enemy. They are all figures within your dream, playing the part you have assigned them from the script you hold within your own consciousness. The circumstances that you believe imprison you are, but the walls of a dreamscape you have consented to. This is not a metaphor. It is the fundamental nature of existence. You are not a small, insignificant being navigating a vast, indifferent universe. You are the universe experiencing itself. You are the creative power that the ancients called God. This power is not in the sky, not in a temple, not in some distant future after you have proven your worth. That power is your own wonderful human imagination. It is your awareness of being. The feeling of I am that animates your body right now, that is God. That is the primal cause. You have been taught to pray to an external God, to plead for intervention. But this is like the dreamer in the night, pleading with a dream character to save him, not realizing he has the power to change the dream entirely or to simply awaken. Your prayers are not answered by an external deity. Your prayers are answered by your own change in consciousness. For prayer is nothing more than the art of assuming the feeling of the wish already fulfilled. When you successfully assume a new state of being, you have altered the dream. You have commanded your reality, as the dreamer commands his dream. But the question that burns within you is, if I am the dreamer, why can't I control my dream? Why does my life feel so solid, so unyielding, so completely outside of my command? And this brings us to the great hypnotist, the grand illusionist that has held you captive since the day you were born, the tyranny of your five senses. From your first breath, You were taught to trust a committee of 5 tyrants: your sight, your hearing, your touch, your taste, and your smell. They became your arbiters of reality. What they reported, you called fact. What they could not perceive, you dismissed as fantasy. And in doing so, you handed over the keys to your kingdom and became a willing prisoner in a jail of your own making. For I tell you a profound truth: your 5 senses are liars, not because they intend to deceive, but because their very nature is to report only on the past. They are historians, not prophets. The world that your eyes see today is not reality. It is the solidified residue of your past consciousness. It is a shadow cast by a light that has already shifted. It is an echo of a sound that was made yesterday. To live by your senses is to live in a graveyard of dead assumptions. Imagine you are standing before a flawless mirror. You see a sad expression on your face. Would you attempt to paint a smile on the mirror? Would you plead with the reflection to change? Of course not. You know instinctively that the only way to change the reflection is to change the face that is casting it. Your world is that mirror. The circumstances of your life are that reflection. To struggle with your circumstances, to fight against your external world, is as futile as polishing a mirror to change your expression. You must turn away from the reflection and change the source, your own state of consciousness. Let us explore this idea of facts. You say, it is a fact that my bank account is empty. It is a fact that I am unwell. It is a fact that this person rejected me. But what is a fact? A fact is nothing more than a collective assumption that has solidified through persistent belief. There was a time when it was a fact that the world was flat. It was a fact that man could not fly. These facts were not objective realities. They were the boundaries of a limited collective consciousness. When consciousness expanded, the facts dissolved like mist in the morning sunlight. Your personal facts are no different. They are the bars of a prison cell whose walls are made of your past beliefs. The man who is conscious of lack will find evidence of it everywhere. A missed opportunity is not just a circumstance. To him, it is a fact proving his belief in scarcity. A polite rejection is not just an event, it is a fact confirming his unworthiness. He is living in a world colored and shaped entirely by his inner state. He doesn't realize he is not discovering a world, but projecting one. You must therefore declare a silent inner war on the evidence of your senses. You must have the audacity to deny the authority of the world you see, and to claim the authority of the world you desire to see. This is not delusion. This is the very art of creation. It is the act of being loyal to a reality that is not yet visible. When the senses scream of lack, you must quietly, confidently assume the feeling of abundance. When the body reports sickness, you must retreat to the inner temple of your mind and clothe yourself in the feeling of perfect health. You are not pretending. You are impressing your subconscious mind, the womb of creation, with a new pattern, a new blueprint from which it must build your tomorrow. So if the senses are liars and the facts are merely shadows of the past, where does one find truth? Where does one find the lever that can move the world? It is found not in looking, but in being. It is found in the most sacred, most powerful, and most misunderstood name in the universe. In the ancient scriptures, the story is told of Moses before the burning bush, asking for the name of God. And the voice answers, I am that I am. This is the greatest revelation ever given to man. This was not the naming of an external tribal deity. It was the unveiling of the universal creative power that resides in every soul. The name of God, the name of the Creator, is I am. It is your awareness of being. It is the core of you before you attach any label to it. Before you are rich or poor, strong or weak, you are simply I am. This I am is the source, the seed of all creation. And whatever you attach to it becomes the branches of the tree of your life. It is a creative decree. Listen to your own inner speech throughout the day. You are constantly defining yourself. You say, I am tired. I am busy. I am not a morning person. I am unlucky in love. You do not realize that you are speaking the sacred name and commanding these states into existence. You are taking the formless creative power of your awareness and pouring it into molds of limitation. And life, being your obedient servant, has no choice but to bring forth for you the fruit of what you have decreed yourself to be. The entire journey of personal development, of spiritual awakening, is not about becoming someone you are not. You are already perfect and complete in your formless being. The journey is about changing your concept of self. It is about consciously choosing what you attach to your I am. This requires a discipline I call a mental diet. Just as you would not poison your physical body with toxic food, you must stop poisoning your consciousness with negative, limiting thoughts and feelings. You must become the guardian at the gate of your mind. When a thought of fear or doubt presents itself, you must not entertain it. You do not fight it. You simply turn your attention away from it and return to the state you choose to embody. Let us try this now. For a moment, let go of all the labels that define you. Let go of your name, your history, your profession, your relationships. Strip them all away. Feel the underlying sense of awareness that remains. This pure, silent feeling, this is I am. It is boundless. It is free. It holds all potential. Now, from this place of pure potential, what do you desire to be? Do not ask if it is possible. Do not ask how it will come about. Simply choose. Do you desire to be secure? Then, in this quiet space, feel what security feels like. Assume it. Let the feeling of I am secure permeate your being. Do you desire to be loved? Then feel the warmth, the tenderness, the completeness of being loved. Say inwardly, I am loved. Feel the truth of it. This is the creative act. It is not wishful thinking. It is a conscious act of self-definition. When you persist in this new assumption, this new feeling of being, you begin a molecular change in your universe. You have planted a new seed in the fertile soil of your subconscious. Your only remaining task is to remain faithful to that seed, to water it with your attention and feeling, and to protect it from the weeds of doubt. You are the architect of your reality. Your consciousness is the unchanging principle. The senses are the deceptive reporters of a world already past, and I am is the all-powerful tool with which you build your new mansion. You now hold the foundational understanding of this law. You have been given the key to your own freedom. The question is no longer if you have the power. The only question that remains is what you will do with it. How will you wield this incredible force? To do that, we must now move from understanding the principle to mastering the tool. We must enter the divine workshop, the sacred sanctuary, where all worlds are born, the realm of your own wonderful imagination. And that is where our journey will take us next. In our previous discussion, we laid the foundation. We established the unshakable premise that your own consciousness, your awareness of being, is the one and only reality. We unmasked the five senses as mere reporters of a past that is already dead and gone. And we reclaim the sacred creative name of God as your own I am. You now stand at the precipice of a profound realization. You understand that you are the operant power in your universe. But you ask, how do I wield this power? If my consciousness is the clay, where is the potter's wheel? Where is the workshop in which I can mold a new reality? I am here to tell you that you have had access to this divine workshop every moment of your life. You have used it unconsciously to create every joy and every sorrow you have ever known. This workshop, this sacred creative faculty, is your own wonderful human imagination. Now, we must be very clear. The world has taught you to misunderstand this power. It has relegated imagination to the nursery, to the realm of idle daydreams, childish fantasies, and whimsical escapes from the real world. This is the greatest of all tragedies. For what you have been taught to dismiss as mere fantasy is in fact the very gateway to all reality. Your imagination is not an escape from the world. It is the creative cauldron in which the world is formed. The scriptures tell us of Christ in you, the hope of glory. This is not a man external to you. Christ is not a historical figure you must worship. Christ is the divine principle of creation within you. And that creative principle is your disciplined, focused imagination. It is your imagination that has the power to save you from your current state of limitation. It is your hope of glory because it is the only thing that can manifest the glory you desire to experience. When you imagine, you are performing a spiritual act of conception. You are embodying the creative power of the universe. Imagination is, quite literally, God in action. Let me tell you a story from my own life, not to impress you, but to impress upon you the living truth of this law. There was a time when I was living in New York City, and I was filled with a single consuming desire to be in Barbados, the island where my family lived. However, my external world screamed impossible. It was the height of the Great Depression. I had no money, not a penny to my name for such a trip. To my senses, I was trapped. I went to my teacher, an old Ethiopian mystic named Abdullah. I told him of my financial woes and my great desire. He looked at me without a trace of sympathy and said, "You are in Barbados." I tried to argue, to show him my empty pocket, to point to the reality of the New York City streets outside. He would not hear it. He grew angry and told me, "You are in Barbados. You will go out of this room now, and you will walk as though you are walking the streets of Barbados." For a week, I was confounded. Then I realized he was not speaking of my physical body. He was giving me the key to the kingdom. So that night, and for several nights after, I did not hope or wish. I lay on my bed in New York, and in my imagination, I assumed that I was sleeping in my family's home in Barbados. I did not look at Barbados from a distance. I was there. I could smell the sea salt in the air. I could hear the rustle of the palm trees outside my window. I walked through the rooms of that house, felt the familiar furniture, and I fell asleep in that state, the state of my wish fulfilled. A series of seemingly miraculous events unfolded. A letter from my brother arrived with a small sum of money. A shipping company then offered me a ticket, not for the price I had, but for a price far below it, as a favor. I did not manifest the ticket. I did not manifest money. I manifested the state of being in Barbados, and the world rearranged itself, creating a bridge of incidents to bring that state into my physical reality. This power is your birthright, but to use it, you must understand the crucial distinction between thinking of your desire and thinking from your desire. To think of something is to see it as separate from you. You are here, it is over there. This maintains the state of lack, of longing. It is the prayer of the beggar. But to think from your desire is to unite with it. You are no longer an observer. You are a participant. You are in the scene. You feel what you would feel if it were already true. This is the prayer of the Creator. This is the secret of all manifestation. Understanding this principle is the first step. But how does one effectively enter the state of the wish, fulfill and impress it upon the deeper creative mind? For this, there is a specific and powerful technique, a practical method for entering the divine workshop and planting the seeds of a new tomorrow. I call this technique entering the state akin to sleep, or SATS. This is not a mystical trend. It is a natural state of consciousness that you pass through twice every day, the moment just before you fall asleep and the moment just after you awaken. In this drowsy, hypnotic state, your conscious reasoning mind, the gatekeeper, the doubter, the part of you that is loyal to the senses, is immobilized. It is quiet. In this quiet, the door to your subconscious mind swings wide open. The subconscious is the womb of creation. It is utterly impersonal. It does not judge. It does not argue. It simply accepts as true that which you impress upon it with feeling, and it works tirelessly in ways you cannot consciously conceive to objectify that impression in your world. The state akin to sleep is the moment you are given direct access to this creative womb. So, here is the masterclass on its use. Follow these steps with discipline and with faith. First, you must clarify the end. You must know exactly what you want. But more than that, you must define an event, a single specific scene, which would happen after your desire has been fulfilled. Do not visualize the process of getting it. Do not imagine how it will come. This is the mistake most people make. They focus on the journey. You must focus only on the destination. If you desire a promotion, the scene is not you working hard to get it. The scene is your superior congratulating you. If you desire to be married, the scene is not the courtship. The scene is feeling a wedding band on your finger as you lay next to your spouse. The event must imply the desire is fulfilled. Second, you must construct the scene. This scene must be short, simple, and sensory. It must be something you can loop over and over again, like a lullaby. Crucially, you must be the central actor in the scene. You are not watching a movie of yourself. You must experience it in the first person. What would you see? What would you hear? Most importantly, what would you touch? The sense of touch is the key to giving your imaginal act the tones of reality. Feeling the texture of a document, the fabric of a chair in your new home, the firm grip of a handshake. These sensory details convince your subconscious mind that the event is real. Third, you must induce the state. As you lay in bed at night, on your back, get comfortable. Close your eyes and become still. Breathe deeply and calmly. Relax your body, part by part. Let go of the day. Allow your mind to drift. You are not trying to force sleep, but you are courting it. You will feel a pleasant laziness steal over you. Your thoughts will begin to slow. This is the gate to the state akin to in sleep. Fourth, and finally, you must enter and loop. When you feel that you have reached this drowsy, receptive state, introduce your predetermined imaginal scene. Do not force it. Gently bring it to your mind's eye. Feel yourself in the action. If the scene is a handshake, feel the pressure of the hand. Hear the words, congratulations, and feel the thrill of accomplishment swell within you. Then let the scene fade and immediately bring it back. Loop it again and again and again. Let this single simple act fill your awareness. The goal is to persist in this imaginal act, feeling its reality more and more with each loop until you drift off to sleep while still in the scene. If you awaken in the night, do not be dismayed. If your mind wanders, gently bring it back. The key is persistence and the feeling. If you can successfully fall asleep while feeling the reality of your wish fulfilled, you have done all that is required of you. You have successfully planted the seed in the fertile ground of your subconscious mind. It is done. The imaginal act performed in SA. TS is the moment of spiritual conception. It is the most sacred and potent of all creative acts. But after conception, there is a necessary period of gestation. A seed, once planted, must be left to germinate in the darkness of the soil. If you dig it up every day to see if it is growing, you will kill it. This period of gestation is lived through the art of living in the end. This does not mean you must outwardly pretend. It is an inner posture, a secret you hold within yourself. Having successfully performed the creative act, you must now remain faithful to your unseen reality. You must walk through your days with the quiet, confident assumption that your desire is already a fact. How does one do this? You begin by changing your inner conversations. Throughout the day, you are silently talking to yourself. The old self would rehearse arguments, worry about problems, and relive disappointments. The new self, the self that is living from the end, must have different conversations. You mentally speak to your friends not of your problems, but from the standpoint of your wish having been fulfilled. You feel the gratitude and the relief that comes with accomplishment. Your inner world must become the home of your new reality. The goal is to make your desired state feel natural. At first, assuming a new, higher state may feel forced. It may feel like a lie, but you must persist. Wear this new feeling as you would a new suit of clothes. At first, it may feel stiff and unfamiliar, but with persistence, you break it in. It becomes comfortable. It becomes a part of you. You persist in the assumption until it no longer feels like a conscious act, but becomes your natural dominant state of being. And this leads us to a more advanced state of consciousness, the state of divine indifference. Once you have imagined your wish fulfilled and it feels truly done, a profound sense of peace and relief will wash over you. You will no longer feel the desperate longing, the anxious neediness you felt before. Why? Because you cannot be hungry for something you have already eaten. You cannot long for something you already possess. In this state, you become indifferent. Not a cold indifference, but a divine indifference born of quiet confidence. You are no longer concerned with the how or the when. You are no longer anxiously looking for signs. You have planted the seed, and you trust the law of gestation. You know that it is done in the only reality that matters, which is consciousness. And you have an unshakable faith that it must and will objectify itself in your world. This state of divine indifference is the mark of a true master. It is the release of all doubt and fear. It is resting in the knowledge that creation is finished. You now possess the architect's tool, your imagination, and the blueprint for its use in SATS. You understand the inner state of being. You must maintain living from the end. You have moved from theory to practice, from knowing the path to walking it. But what happens when the old world, the world of your senses, fights back? What do you do when doubt, fear, and the hard evidence of your current circumstances rise up to challenge your new creation? To answer that, we must learn the art of spiritual discipline, the art of revising the past and being loyal only to the unseen. And that is where our journey will take us next. In our last session, we stood within the divine workshop of imagination. You were taught the sacred art of conception, how to enter the state aching to sleep and impress upon the womb of creation the seed of your desired reality. You have planted that seed. It is done. But a seed, however potent, requires a vigilant gardener, for it has been planted in the soil of a world that is currently overgrown with the weeds of your past beliefs and experiences. Every day, the world will present you with evidence that contradicts your new creation. The events of the day, the words of others, the reports of your own senses, all will seem to conspire to convince you that your seed is just a fantasy and that the weeds are the only reality. This is where most people fail. They perform the creative act in faith, but then allow the harvest of yesterday to poison the soil of today. But I am here to give you a tool of such profound power that it will allow you to prune the garden of your mind daily. ensuring that only your chosen creations are allowed to grow. This tool is the art of revision. The world believes the past is fixed, solid, and unchangeable. I tell you that time is an illusion of your mortal senses. The past, present, and future exist simultaneously in the infinite realm of your own consciousness. The past is not dead. It is a living structure within your imagination, and it continues to project its consequences into your present moment. An unrevised, unpleasant event from your past is like a thorny weed whose roots continue to spread, choking the life from the new seeds you plant. Revision is the art of spiritual pruning. It is the practice of changing the past in your imagination, and in so doing, changing its effect upon your future. This is not about denying what has happened. It is about transforming it at its causal level. So how does one practice this art? It is a simple, daily discipline. At the end of your day, before you enter the state, akin to sleep, to once again feel your wish fulfilled, you perform a review. Find a quiet place, relax your body, and in your mind's eye, watch the events of the day unfold. But do not watch them as you would a movie, passively. You are the master of this theater. As you review the day, isolate any moment, any conversation, any event that brought with it a feeling of disappointment, anger, regret, or limitation. Perhaps a colleague spoke to you disrespectfully. Perhaps a business deal fell through. Perhaps you received news that was less than you desired. Do not accept these scenes as final. Now, you begin the rewrite. In your imagination, you replay that scene, but you rewrite the script. You transform it into the scene, as it should have been had it conformed to your ideal. If the colleague was disrespectful, you now imagine them speaking to you with kindness and admiration. Hear their revised words clearly. Feel the warmth of the new interaction. If the deal failed, you reimagine the client, shaking your hand firmly, a smile on their face, the contract signed. Feel the thrill of success, the relief of accomplishment. If the news was bad, you imagine receiving glorious news instead. You must make this revised scene so vivid and so real that it supplants the memory of what your senses first reported. You persist in this revised scene, looping it over and over until you feel the genuine emotional release that comes with it. This feeling is the chemical signature of success. It is, in the mystical language of the scriptures, the forgiveness of sin. You are not being forgiven by an external God. You are cleansing a negative state from your own consciousness, ensuring it can no longer bear fruit in your future. Let me tell you of a student of mine, a doctor, who used this technique with profound results. One day, he made a diagnostic error that could have had serious consequences for his patient. He was filled with regret and fear. That night, instead of tormenting himself, he sat quietly and revised the day. He imagined his initial examination again, but this time, he imagined himself correctly diagnosing the issue from the start. He imagined the feeling of confidence, of clarity, of having done his job perfectly. He replayed this revised scene until the feeling of relief replaced the feeling of fear. And then he fell asleep. The next morning, he woke up free from the emotional burden. When he went to the hospital, he discovered that a series of events had unfolded overnight that had rendered his initial error completely harmless. He had changed the effect by changing the cause within himself. This is your daily practice. A day unrevised is a day that leaves weeds in your garden. By practicing revision every night, you are ensuring that no root of bitterness or failure can take hold. You are maintaining a clean, fertile soil in which only your chosen desires can grow. As you practice revision and hold to your assumption, your greatest adversary will inevitably rise to challenge you. It is a serpent that slithers into the most sacred moments of creation, whispering poison into your ear. This serpent is doubt. We must not underestimate this foe, but we must not grant it power either. To overcome it, we must first understand its anatomy. Doubt is not a singular form. It is a three-headed beast, born from your allegiance to the world of illusion. The first head of the beast is the evidence of the senses. This is the brute force of doubt. Your eyes see the empty bank account. Your ears hear the word no. Your body feels the symptom of illness. This sensory army of the old reality will march relentlessly, presenting you with facts that contradict your inner vision. The second head is reason. This is the subtle saboteur. Your rational mind, which is a wonderful servant, but a terrible master, operates entirely on past data. It will analyze your desire and conclude, based on your history, that it is illogical, improbable, or impossible. It sees no precedent for your success, and so it counsels you to be realistic, which is simply a code word for being loyal to your past limitations. The third head is the illusion of time. This is the most insidious form of doubt. You have held your assumption for a day, a week, a month, and nothing seems to have changed on the outside. The serpent of time whispers, it's not working. If it were going to happen, it would have happened by now. It's time to give up. So how do you slay this three-headed beast? You do not fight it head on. To argue with doubt is to give it your energy and make it stronger. To fight your senses is to declare that they are real. You do not slay doubt. You neutralize it. You starve it of the one thing it needs to survive, your attention. Doubt is not a cause. It is a symptom. It is the smoke alarm telling you that you have, for a moment, left the house of your assumption and re-entered the burning building of your old state. The cure, therefore, is not to attack the alarm, but to simply return to the house. When doubt arises, you must not engage with it. You must immediately, without hesitation, return to the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Here are the practical disciplines for neutralizing doubt. First, you must maintain your mental diet. This is the active, moment-to-moment refusal to entertain thoughts, feelings, conversations, or media that contradict your assumption. If you are assuming wealth, you do not indulge in conversations about scarcity. You do not consume news stories designed to evoke fear of economic collapse. You become a selective gatekeeper of your own mind. You starve the beast of doubt by refusing to feed it. Second, you employ the powerful tool of the rhetorical question. Isn't it wonderful? The rational mind loves to ask how and when. These questions are born of doubt. You must replace them. Whenever you think of your fulfilled desire, instead of questioning the process, you close your eyes for a moment and you feel a gentle wave of relief, and you say to yourself, isn't it wonderful that it's all taken care of? Isn't it wonderful that your desire is now a fact? This simple phrase does two remarkable things. It presupposes that the desire is already fulfilled, and it automatically generates the feeling of gratitude, which is the emotional signature of a prayer that has been answered. A woman I knew was assuming a harmonious relationship while living in a house filled with discord. The evidence of her senses screamed of conflict. Doubt was her constant companion. She began this practice. Whenever an argument would start, she would not engage. She would retreat inwardly and ask, isn't it wonderful that we have such a loving and peaceful home? She persisted. She starved the doubt. She fed the assumption. Over time, the atmosphere in the home began to change. The arguments lessened. The mood lifted. She did not change the others. She changed her assumption about them, and they conformed to the new pattern. As you remain faithful to your assumption, as you practice revision and neutralize doubt, a mysterious and wonderful process begins to unfold. The world will begin to move to bring your assumption into being. A series of events will appear in your life, seemingly by chance, to lead you from your current state to the fulfillment of your desire. I call this sequence of events the bridge of incidents. It is crucial that you understand this. The building of the bridge is not your concern. Your conscious reasoning mind is incapable of conceiving the path to your fulfillment. It can only see the obstacles, but your deeper mind, your subconscious self, which is one with the infinite intelligence of the universe, knows the way. It is the master builder. When you successfully impress your subconscious with an end result, you have handed the blueprint to this master builder. It will then begin to construct the bridge. It may use the people in your life. It may bring new people into your life. It may cause you to read a certain book, to overhear a certain conversation, to have a sudden urge to go to a place you wouldn't normally go. From your limited perspective, these events will look like coincidence, luck, or accident. But from the higher perspective of consciousness, there are no accidents. Every event is a perfectly placed stone in the bridge leading to your destination. Your only responsibility is to walk the bridge in faith. Sometimes a stone in the bridge may look like a setback. A door may slam in your face. A job may be lost. A relationship may end. Your rational mind will scream that you are failing. But the master builder knows that the closing of that door was necessary to force you to turn and see the grand gate that has just opened behind you. You must trust the process. You must have faith in the builder. This faith is not a passive hope. It is an active surrender. It is the surrender of your need to control the how. The moment you begin to dictate how your desire must come to pass, you are interfering with the builder. You are telling the infinite intelligence how to do its job. This creates anxiety, tension, and resistance, and it can delay or even destroy the entire structure. Your job is to remain in the end, live in the feeling of the wish fulfilled, and allow the bridge to unfold before you. Walk it with confidence, even when you cannot see the other side. This discipline, this trust, is the very essence of practical faith. It is the journey from being a victim of circumstance to being a co-creator with the divine. If you are ready to walk this path, to learn to trust the unseen builder within you, then I invite you to become a permanent part of this work. Subscribe to this channel. Join a community of conscious architects who are not just dreaming of a better world, but are actively building it from within. Let us walk this bridge together. You now have the tools of the vigilant gardener. You have the pruning shears of revision to cleanse your past, and the shield of faith to neutralize the serpent of doubt. You understand that your only task is to remain loyal to your assumption and to trust the bridge of incidents that will inevitably appear to lead you home. But what is the ultimate nature of this reality you are creating? Who are the other actors in your play? To truly become a master of this law, you must grasp one of its most profound and challenging truths. We must explore the ultimate reality of your world. And that is where our journey will take us next. This discipline, this trust, is the very essence of practical faith. It is the journey from being a victim of circumstance to being a co-creator with the divine. If you are ready to walk this path, to learn to trust the unseen builder within you, and to master these principles in your own life, then I invite you to become a permanent part of this work. Subscribe to this channel. Join a community of conscious architects who are not just dreaming of a better world, but are actively building it from within. Let us walk this bridge together. We have journeyed far together. You have awakened to the truth that your consciousness is the only reality. You have entered the divine workshop of your imagination to conceive a new life. You have been armed with the spiritual disciplines of revision and the mental diet to protect your creation from the onslaught of doubt and the evidence of the past. You have moved from being a victim of your world to its conscious architect, but now, to claim true mastery, you must take the next step. You must be willing to embrace a truth so radical it will shatter the very foundation of what you believe to be self and other. It is the key to transforming every relationship in your life, to harmonizing your world, and to understanding the intricate dance of human experience. This truth is this: everyone is you pushed out. I want you to pause and feel the weight of that statement. There is no one outside of you. The world is a mirror, not just the inanimate objects, the circumstances, the event, but every single person who walks across the stage of your life. They are you. They are projections of the consciousness that is yours. They are messages appearing in form to tell you what you are in this moment, believing and assuming to be true about yourself. This is not a philosophical abstraction. It is a practical, living reality. The person who annoys you, the one who betrays you, the one who ignores you, they are not acting independently. Their behavior is a script that you, the director of your own play, have unconsciously handed them. They are simply and faithfully playing the part that your own state of consciousness has assigned to them. Their behavior is the effect. The cause is a belief, an assumption, a feeling state that lives and breathes within you. Let us make this intensely practical. Consider the tyrant boss, the one who seems to belittle you, to overlook your contributions. You have tried to please him, to work harder, perhaps to confront him, but nothing changes. Why? Because you are trying to change the reflection in the mirror. The cause is not the boss. The cause is the state of consciousness you are occupying in relation to your work. Perhaps it is a deep-seated belief that I am not worthy, or my work is never appreciated, or authority is always oppressive. The boss has no choice but to appear in your world and play that part perfectly, to give form to your belief. To change him, you must change yourself. You must go within and assume the state of being appreciated, respected, and successful. As you persist in this new self-concept, the boss will either transform before your very eyes, reflecting your new state, or he will depart from your stage to be replaced by a new actor who can fulfill the role of the respectful boss. Consider the distant lover, the partner who does not give you the affection you crave. You plead, you argue, you demand, and they only retreat further. You are pushing against a shadow. You must turn inward and ask the difficult question: what am I assuming to be true about love? Do I secretly believe I am unlovable? Do I feel, deep down, that I will always be abandoned? Your partner is a mirror to that inner conviction. To experience a world of love, you must first inhabit the state of being loved. In your imagination, you must feel the warmth, the security, the joy of a perfect union. You must carry on mental conversations of tenderness and devotion. As you become saturated with the feeling of being loved, the world and the people in it must reflect that love back to you. It is law. This law works for harmony as well as for discord. The friend who supports you, the stranger who shows you a kindness, they are also you pushed out. They are the embodiment of the loving, secure, and confident aspects of your own consciousness. So what is the method for changing others? You never ever attempt to change them in the outer world. The moment you do, you are admitting they are separate from you and have power over you. Instead, you practice the true magic. You go into the theater of your mind. You bring the person in question onto your inner stage, and you rewrite their script. You see them not as they are, but as you wish them to be. You have loving, imaginary conversations with them. You imagine them congratulating you, supporting you, loving you. You persist in this revised image of them until it feels natural and true within you. A woman was tormented by what she perceived as the constant criticism of her family. Every gathering was an ordeal. She decided to test this law. For 1 month, every night, she did not see her family as critical. She imagined them gathered together, their faces filled with love and admiration for her. She heard them say how proud they were of her. She looped this scene until she felt the genuine warmth of it. The next family gathering, she went in with no fear, and to her astonishment, the entire atmosphere had changed. The critical words were gone, replaced by conversations of support and kindness. They had not consciously changed. She had changed the pattern within herself, and they, as obedient reflections, simply conformed to the new projection. This is the ultimate responsibility. You can no longer play the victim. You can no longer blame another for your misfortune. The cause of both the beauty and the ugliness of your world lies in one place and one place only, within your own consciousness. Now that you understand that the world and its people are a reflection of your own consciousness, we must take the final, ultimate step in this journey of awakening. We must address the nature of the imaginal realm itself, for this is the final barrier that stands between man and his freedom. The deeply ingrained belief that what he imagines is not real. I am here today to tell you that this is the greatest of all lies. The truth is the exact opposite. Your imagination is the only thing that is real. It is the substantial world. This physical world, which your senses report as so solid and inescapable, is but a shadow world. It is a temporary, three-dimensional reflection of a greater, more fundamental reality, which is the world of your imagination. Think of it this way. An architect sits in his office and designs a magnificent skyscraper. The blueprint he creates is a product of his imagination. It contains every detail, every measurement, every specification. Then, builders come, and over a period of time, they objectify that blueprint in steel and glass. Now, which is more real? The physical building which will one day decay and fall, or the blueprint, the perfect eternal pattern from which it was born? The cause, the true substance, is the blueprint. The building is just the temporary effect. Your imaginal acts are those blueprints. When you form a scene in your mind and feel its reality, you have created a substantial causal pattern. The physical world then has no choice but to begin the construction process, to objectify your inner blueprint in the world of space and time. This is why I have told you that creation is finished. Every possible reality, every potential you could ever desire or fear, already exists as a finished blueprint in the infinite realm of your imagination. Your act of assuming a state is not an act of creating something from nothing. It is an act of selecting a pre-existing reality and commanding it to appear. When you begin to grasp this, you realize that there is no fiction. Every book you read, every movie you watch, every idle daydream that flits across your mind, it is not a fiction. It is a glimpse into another state of consciousness, another potential reality. A story of tragedy feels so poignant because it activates the state of tragedy that exists as a potential within you. A story of heroic triumph feels so uplifting because it allows you to briefly wear the state of the hero. This understanding carries with it a profound responsibility. You must become the master of your inner world, for that is the only world that matters. The content of your imagination is not innocent entertainment. It is the seed plot for your future. If you spend your days imagining arguments, rehearsing failures, and dwelling on scenes of lack and limitation, are you not planting a garden of thorns and thistles? You are creating blueprints for structures you would never consciously choose to inhabit. Yet you are drawing them with your undisciplined mind. This is why the mental diet is so crucial. You must be as careful about the imaginal scenes you allow to play in your mind as you would be about the food you allow into your body. What you give your attention to, you are feeding. What you feed grows. What you starve dies. Starve the unwanted. Feed only the lovely, the noble, the state of your wish fulfilled. Let me tell you a parable. A wise king knew he was to die, and he called his 2 sons before him. To the first son he said, "Go into the royal treasury, take all the gold and jewels you wish, and build for me a golden statue in the city square to honor my memory." To the second son he said, "Go into the silent, empty room at the top of the highest tower. Remain there and build for me in your mind's eye a golden statue so perfect, so beautiful, that it embodies all the glory of our kingdom." The first son labored for a year. He hired craftsmen, he spent the gold, and he erected a great statue. But it was flawed, for the world of form is always flawed. The second son sat in silence for a month. He built nothing with his hands, but in his imagination, he created a pattern of such divine perfection and felt its reality so completely that he knew it was finished. He then emerged from the tower. The next morning, where the first son's flawed statue had stood, there now stood a statue of incandescent light, a form of such impossible beauty that all who saw it knew they were looking upon something not made by human hands. The first son operated in the world of shadows. The second son operated in the world of substance. You must become that second son. The real work is always done within. You must stop trying to manipulate the shadows of your physical world. Retreat to the silent tower of your own mind. Build your ideal world there. Make it so real, so vivid, so natural that you prefer it to the world your senses show you. Dwell in that state. Live in it. And I promise you, the shadows of your outer world must and will conform to the new substantial reality you have created within. You now see the ultimate truth. The world is not separate from you. It is a magnificent and obedient mirror of your own being. And your imagination is not a realm of fantasy, but the very substance of reality itself, the divine workshop where all creation is finished. To know this is to be set free from the chains of circumstance forever. It is to understand that you are not a victim of fate, but the master of destiny. Knowing this profound truth, knowing that you are the sole creative power, and that your imaginal world is the only true world, what will you do now? How will you live from this day forward? The time for learning is over. The time for being has begun. We have come to the end of our journey through words, but to the true beginning of your life as a conscious creator. We have traveled from the foothills of doubt and limitation to the highest peaks of understanding. Now, we must gather the jewels of this journey and see them not as separate truths, but as facets of the one great diamond of your own being. For too long, man has been a seeker, searching for truth in books, in gurus, in temples, and in the stars. You've been searching for a power outside of yourself to save you, to fix you, to approve of you. Today, that search is over. The power you have been seeking in the world is the very power that was looking through your eyes. The Savior you have been praying for is the I Am, that is your own consciousness. Let us now revisit the great pillars of this teaching, not as lessons to be learned, but as the very architecture of your new identity. First, we establish the pillar of reality. You came to this lecture believing you were a small figure in a vast, solid, external world. You leave here knowing the truth, that your consciousness is the one and only reality, and the world is but a magnificent mirror reflecting the state you hold within. You no longer need to believe this. You must now begin to live from this truth, to walk through your day with the secret knowledge that you are the center and the cause of all that you behold. Second, we unveil the pillar of creation. You once thought of imagination as a trivial faculty of fantasy. You leave here knowing it is the divine workshop, the very Christ in you, your hope of glory. Imagination is no longer a tool you occasionally use. It is the very breath of your creative spirit. Your daily imaginal acts, especially in the sacred state akin to sleep, are not chores or exercises. They are the most holy of all prayers. They are the moments of divine conception where you, as the creative power of God, choose the worlds you wish to bring forth. Third, we fortified you with a pillar of discipline. You learn that a creator is also a vigilant gardener. The art of revision is no longer just a clever technique. It is your daily act of self-love, your cleansing of the mind, your forgiveness of sin. Your mental diet is no longer a restriction. It is your declaration of sovereignty. You have reclaimed the throne of your mind, and you now consciously choose the thoughts and feelings that are worthy of your kingdom. You no longer react to the day. You create it, and you redeem it. And fourth, we pull back the final veil to reveal the pillar of unity. You began this journey seeing a world of others, friends, enemies, strangers. You leave here with the awesome and profound understanding that everyone is you pushed out. You now know that to love another is to love yourself. To forgive another is to free yourself. The world is no longer a collection of separate beings acting upon you. It is a dance of reflection, a cast of characters, playing parts you have written for them. This understanding dissolves all blame, all resentment, and leaves only compassion and the responsibility of a loving creator. Imagine two architects, both given the same perfect blueprint for a beautiful building. The first architect goes to the construction site and complains. He complains about the quality of the wood, the laziness of the workers, the heat of the Sunday. He focuses on the external conditions, and his building is slow to rise and flawed in its construction. The second architect is also given the blueprint. He spends little time on the chaotic construction site. Instead, he spends his time in his office, with his eyes closed, walking through the finished building in his imagination. He feels the smooth marble under his feet. He sees the light streaming through the perfect windows. He feels the immense satisfaction of a job well done. He lives in the end, and the workers and the materials on the outside, as if guided by an unseen hand, begin to conform to his unwavering inner vision. His building rises effortlessly and stands as a perfect testament to his faith. You must be that second architect. Stop focusing on the chaos of the construction site of your life. The world of your senses is filled with lazy workers and flawed materials. It is the world of Caesar. Retreat to the temple of your mind. Live in the finished building. The world of form must conform to the blueprint of your faith. To fully step into the identity of this second architect, there is one final act you must perform. It is an act of profound surrender. You must now attend the funeral of your old self. This old self, the person you thought you were, has served you, but its time is over. We must now lovingly but firmly let it die. This is the self that waits, the self that hopes, the self that tries. This is the self that blames the world, that points to the past, that feels like a victim. This is the self that believes in the power of out there more than the power of in here. Let us speak of this word, trying. You say, I am trying to feel wealthy. I am trying to imagine my self-love. The very act of trying is a declaration of failure. It implies immense effort, a struggle against an opposing force. It confirms that you are not in the state you desire. The sun does not try to shine. A rose does not try to bloom. They simply are. You must stop trying and start being. You do not try to feel wealthy. You go quiet and you ask, what would the feeling be like if I were wealthy? And you allow that feeling to permeate your being. You surrender to the state. You do not struggle for it. This surrender also clarifies the paradox of action. So many have asked, if creation is finished and it is all done in imagination, do I just sit and do nothing? I tell you, you will act, but you will act differently. Your actions will no longer be the desperate, anxious struggles of a man trying to make something happen. Your actions will be the natural, effortless movements of a man who is simply playing his part in a play whose successful outcome is already guaranteed. Action is the fruit, not the seed. Inspired action flows automatically from a changed state of consciousness. You do not network to get successful. The man who is conscious of being successful naturally finds himself in conversations that lead to greater opportunities. You do not go on 100 dates to find love. The woman who is conscious of being loved radiates a confidence and a wholeness that effortlessly attracts the perfect partner. The actions may look the same from the outside, but the consciousness behind them is the difference between heaven and hell, between struggle and grace. So, let go of the old man. Let go of the identity that believes in struggle. Surrender the need to control the outer world. Surrender the need to see immediate proof. Surrender the belief that you are a victim. Your only work, your only effort is to remain loyal to your inner vision. This is the great surrender. It is the death of the ego and the resurrection of the Christ within you, your own wonderful imagination. We arrive now at the final truth, the point to which this entire lecture has been leading. It is the recognition of the power of now. Your rational mind lives in a world of past and future. It is constantly looking back at past failures for evidence of what is possible and projecting its hopes and fears onto an imaginary future. This is the great human hypnosis, the postponement of power. You tell yourself, I will be happy when I get the promotion. I will feel secure when the money arrives. I will feel love when I find the partner. That when is the prison bar that keeps you from your own good. The future is an illusion. It never arrives. There is no power in the future. The past is dead. It has no power over you unless you choose to reanimate it with your attention. The only moment of power you will ever have is this present moment, now. Creation is not a future event. It is a present act. The desire you feel in your heart is not a sign of something you lack. It is a promise. It is the thing itself, pressing for birth. Your desire for health is the reality of health, in the imaginal realm, calling to you to consent to it. Your desire for abundance is the reality of abundance, asking to be accepted by you. Creation is finished. Your desire already exists. Your only work is to move into that state, to accept that pre-existing reality now. So the lecture is over. The words will soon fade. What remains is you and your own consciousness. And the question that hangs in this sacred silent moment is this: who are you? Not who were you? Not who will you become? But who are you right now? Will you continue to wear the old garments of limitation? Will you continue to bow to the tyranny of your senses? Will you continue to wait for a world that is already a reflection of your past to give you permission to change? Or will you in this moment make a decision? Will you dare to assume that you are already the man, the woman you long to be? Will you close your eyes after this lecture ends and feel the reality of your dream just for a moment? Will you carry that feeling with you into your sleep tonight? I do not ask you to believe me. I do not ask you to admire these ideas as beautiful philosophy. I am not a philosopher. I am a spiritual pragmatist. I implore you, I challenge you, prove me wrong. Test this law. Do not take my word for it. Take your own experience as the only authority. Take one desire, even a small one. Dare to apply this principle tonight with all the sincerity and passion of your heart. Dare to live from the end, to revise your day, to ignore the contradictions of your senses. Dare to find out for yourself if you are indeed the creative power of your world. Your own success will be the only scripture you will ever need. You are the one you have been waiting for. The power to become is yours. The time to begin is now. Stop waiting. Start being. You are not a drop in the ocean. You are the entire ocean in a drop. You are not a creation of God. You are God in creation. Walk now, not as one who seeks, but as one who has found. Not as one who hopes, but as one who knows. Your world is waiting for your command. Speak it, feel it, own it, become it. Now, I implore you, I challenge you, prove me wrong. Test this law tonight. Take a simple desire and dare to live from its end. Your own experience will be the only scripture you will ever need. If this message, this truth, has resonated within your soul, and you are committed to living as the creator you were always meant to be, then subscribe now. Join us. For our work here is to continually awaken to this truth, the truth that sets you and all of us free. You are the one you have been waiting for.